Two Cy Youngs, youngest World Series MVP ever at 21, a no-hitter, and yet he isn't in the MLB Hall of Fame. Should he be? Brett Saberhagen was drafted in the 19th round out of Grover Cleveland High School in Reseda, California by the Kansas City Royals, a team still chasing its first championship at the time. He made his debut at age 20 in 1984, where he had a solid rookie season posting a 3.48 ERA, but nobody thought he'd be the Royals' ace in just a year. In 1985, he'd become the team's best starter all before he was legally old enough to buy a beer. He went 20-6 with a 2.87 ERA in just his second season in the league and threw over 235 innings with a 143 ERA+, which means he was 43% better than the league average and had a walk rate of 1.5 walks per 9. He helped lead the Royals that season to a World Series appearance. He went 2-0 with a 0.5 ERA with 2 complete games, which included a Game 7 performance where he pitched to an 11-0 shutout with one of the most clutch starts in Royals history. At 21, he became the youngest pitcher ever to win a World Series MVP, delivering the Royals their first franchise championship on the way. Oh yeah, not to mention, he had also won the Cy Young that season too. He joined a short list of pitchers, Bob Gibson, Whitney Ford, and Sandy Koufax, to win both a Cy Young and World Series MVP in the same season. From there, fans jokingly noticed something strange. Saberhagen had seemed to dominate in the odd number years. His win numbers, including his ERA, were much worse in the even years, though the trend did end in 1994, where he had one of his best seasons in an even year. As we look at his baseball reference page, one thing comes to notice: the 1989 season. He went 23-6 with a 2.16 ERA, throwing over 260 innings. His WAR that year was 9.7, which on its own might sound like just another great ace season, the kind Jacob deGrom or Aaron Nola put up in 2018, but here's the difference. Saberhagen wasn't just great, he was an outlier. In 1989, no other pitcher was even close. He led the league in wins, ERA, WHIP, innings, and complete games. And when you adjust for that offensive environment of that era, his season skyrockets into all-time territory, ranking as the second best era-adjusted season in Baseball Reference WAR history, only behind Shohei Ohtani's two-way season in 2021. That means out of every pitcher season ever recorded, Saberhagen sits essentially at the top of the list. In a talent pool filled with legends like Clemens, Maddox, Ryan, Saberhagen lapped the field. Among all pitchers in history, he recorded the best era-adjusted season by Baseball Reference WAR. At just 25 years old, he had already cemented himself as one of the most dominant pitchers alive. And on August 26, 1991, he no-hit who else could it be? The Chicago White Sox, which was a 7-0 masterpiece. To this day, it's still the last no-hitter in Royals history. Saberhagen had won 2 Cy Youngs, a World Series MVP, and was seen as one of the best control pitchers in baseball. That was also another skill that Brett Saberhagen had that was historically good: his control. Across his career, he averaged just 1.7 walks per 9 innings over nearly 2,500 innings. That's better than Greg Maddux, who's often called the king of command. And in 1994, after reinventing himself with the Mets following shoulder injuries, Saberhagen was at his sharpest. That year, he struck out 143 batters and walked only 13 with a strikeout-to-walk ratio of 11. It is the second best season in baseball history for that stat. But here's the tragedy of Saberhagen's career: his shoulder. After age 31, he managed only 335 more innings. Chronic injuries robbed him of longevity that builds traditional Hall of Fame resumes. And while he had a mini resurgence with the Red Sox in the late 90s, posting a 3.98 ERA with strong command, he was never the same. But his numbers are still eye-opening. His career ERA plus of 126 ranks 76 all-time, better than Tom Glavine, Nolan Ryan, and Don Drysdale, and right alongside Koufax and Maddox. That's remarkable company. And here's where it gets even more impressive: Saberhagen's era-adjusted WAR. His era-adjusted Baseball Reference WAR sits at 61.3, with his era-adjusted F4 at 58.2. For context, 60 WAR is often considered the unofficial Hall of Fame threshold. If you clear it, you're usually in. Saberhagen did it despite fewer than 2,600 innings, meaning his efficiency was off the charts. The era-adjusted Baseball Reference WAR puts him ahead of Hall of Famers like Juan Marichal, Carl Hubbell, and Jim Bunning, all household names in baseball history, and I chose them for a reason. Juan Marichal was the ace of the San Francisco Giants in the 1960s. Known for his high leg kick and durability, he threw for over 3,500 innings, made 10 All-Star teams, and is remembered as one of the greatest pitchers never to win a Cy Young. Saberhagen reached a higher career era-adjusted Baseball Reference WAR in 900 fewer innings, showing how much value he packed into a shorter career. Carl Hubble dominated the 1930s with the New York Giants, winning 2 MVP awards and famously striking out 5 Hall of Famers in a row in the 1934 All-Star Game: Ruth, Gehrig, Fox, Simmons, and Cronin. That single moment cemented his legend. But Saberhagen's EB war edges Hubble's even without a signature All-Star stunt. His greatness showed up day after day. Jim Bunning was one of the few pitchers to dominate in both leagues. He won over 100 games in the AL and NL, threw a no-hitter with the Tigers in 1958 and a perfect game with the Phillies in 1964. He never won a Cy Young, mostly because there was only one award for baseball at that time. But he made 9 All-Star teams and struck out nearly 3,000 batters. And yet, despite all that longevity, Saberhagen still finished with a higher air-adjusted B WAR and nearly 1,200 fewer innings. Remember, Saberhagen achieved all this in fewer than 400 games, 175 wins, and 2,600 innings. Only 3 pitchers in Cooperstown threw less: Adi Jas, Dizzy Dean, and Sandy Koufax. All 3 are remembered not because of their long careers, but because their short peaks were historic. So why isn't Saberhagen remembered like Koufax? Both had short careers, both had jaw-dropping peaks. Koufax, of course, had the legendary image of dominating the 1960s and retired at the very top of his game. Saberhagen, by contrast, had his career fizzle with injuries in the late 90s and fell off the Hall of Fame ballot after just 1 year. But here's the thing, the numbers show he belongs in the conversation. Does peak dominance outweigh longevity? Bret Saberhagen wasn't just a Royals ace, he was one of the most efficient pitchers the game has ever seen. He dominated an era built for hitters with pinpoint control that even legends like Maddox couldn't match. If peak greatness matters, Saberhagen's name belongs in every Hall of Fame conversation.